Hello guys, welcome along. Right, so today I'm going to show you how I painted this capybara right here. It was the first time I've painted this, never painted a capybara before in my life, but I think it looks pretty good, quite happy with the overall result. So I'm going to show you what paper I used first, which is this Fabriano number 5, and it's got 50% cotton in this. So if you use anything lower than like 50% cotton, it's going to look terrible. You're not going to be able to do the same techniques that I used, like lots of layers going over the same area twice, etc. So it's got to be decent paper at least. And then I basically used 3 colours for the capybara itself and like 2 colours for the ground right here in the background. So I used a burnt umber and raw sienna and ultramarine blue, mainly those 3 to get the colours for the capybara itself. And I also used a bit of lunar black as well, just to darken like the areas down here, and especially this bit up here, this background. That was basically just lunar black for this bit. So yeah, that's the capybara, and then I'm going to start with the process. Well, first I'm going to show you the brushes I used. So this one is a number 9 Winsor and Newton Cotman. This one is a 00, and the last one, don't know what brand it is, but it's a size 20. Then the paper is a number 5 Fabriano. Okay, so I just sprayed the paper using my little water bottle right here, and I'm just applying the lightest colour to the paper, but I definitely should have used a big brush for this. This is a terrible way to fill the page. You need a really big brush, so you can just do a straight wash of colour. So yeah, needed a bigger brush right there. Okay, and then here I had a little hair on the paper and I wanted to get it out, but yeah, it wasn't working. So if that happens, just leave little hairs, and then when it dries you can just lift them out. And here I'm just lifting out some of the paint. So there are certain areas of the capybara which has like light, so yeah, I'm just lifting out some of the paint to make the areas closer to the white of the paper right here, going around the feet and parts of the head. Okay, so at this point the paper's dry right here, so I'm just mixing the first colour of the fur for the capybara, something darker than the background obviously. Okay, so I'm just adding a layer of water only to the capybara right here. Okay, then here we go. So with the water layer, I'm going to apply some paint only to certain areas. So this is literally like the lightest wash, the lightest fur, which I'm trying to do first. And since the paper is wet, the paint will have like a smoother finish. Because on the capybara, like the colours of the fur are quite smooth, the transitions, so the water will help me do that. And as we come down here, I needed to make this bit kind of fade out, so I'm just kind of dragging the paint down, smoothing out the end of the paint. And then already you can see, you know, the basic outline of the capybara. It's taking shape even with this first layer. And then I've just gone for a darker colour, so while the paper's still wet we can blend a few of the colours. So with this darker colour right here, just highlighting some of the nose, and underneath the face where the shade would be, behind the ear, areas where it's more shaded. And then again, to make everything smoother, because the paper's wet, you're able to kind of drag away on the end, and you'll get this nice smooth transition between those colours. Same thing up there as well, smoothing everything together. And that way the darker colour is also not as overpowering as well. Again, just smoothing those two. There we go. Well, actually here what I'm doing, I'm just lifting away some of the paint to kind of keep the outline of the capybara really evident, really strong. There we go, just putting some water on this bit just to take away that hard edge. And again, just, yeah, correcting some of these edges a little bit, taking away the paint to keep the form of the head really strong. Just using a paper towel right there. So I'm wetting the paint that I don't want, and then putting the paper towel over it, and all the paint just lifts straight out. Just dry this at this stage, make everything 100% dry before we go to the next layer. There we go. Okay, so it's all dry at this point. I've mixed an even darker colour as well. So this is like a burnt sienna plus some ultramarine blue, I think. Okay. So same process as before. Literally just applying some clean water as a little wash over the top. And again, the water, this layer of water will help everything to blend really smoothly together. There we go. So a nice strong mix of the paint. And here we go. So I'm looking for the areas where the fur is the darkest, where the light wouldn't be hitting directly. So we've got the side of the head right here, And as you can see, because I applied the water before this, all the paint's blending together quite nicely. Very smooth transitions. There we go. So once we apply the darker colours, we can see the head taking a bit more of a 3D form right here. Just going around onto the ears, down the neck. Making sure everything's nice and smooth, because we don't want any hard edges or hard, distinguishable colour changes. So literally at this point I'm just adding some water to my brush and dragging the paint to one side. Nice smooth finish. Again, just adding some water, making sure clean water over that paint. That'll give me some nice smooth finishes. And I'm still trying to concentrate on the areas where the light is hitting. So I'm keeping those, white, keeping those as light as possible. And just like before, because everything's still wet, we're able to manipulate the paint, so I can drag that paint around, make it smoother, etc. I think there I'm just taking away some of the paint again, like before. Yeah, so I'm just using a really damp brush, going over the area that I want to make lighter, taking away some of that paint. There we go, same thing again with some clean water. So here I can see that I've kind of gone over the line that I wanted on the head. So I've got a damp brush. I'm going over the paper a few times with the brush, then lifting out the paint with the paper. And then of course using the hairdryer to dry this as well, making sure it's completely dry again for the next layer. And same as the last two layers, then same principle, so loading up my brush with some clean water to the areas that I want to cover next. So this time I've just applied the water to the head, because that's the area that I'm focusing on. Okay, so just making some more shadows right here with a darker colour. Going for the ears and the top of the head. And again, while everything's still wet, I've got an even stronger colour right here for the outline of the ear. So everything's wet and wet still at this point. Just a little highlight to the other ear right here. So now that the head's done, dry that, make sure it's dry, and move on to the body right here. So again, just another layer of wet, clean water. stronger colour right here. Then we'll start to define the body a bit. So obviously towards the ground there's going to be less light, so this part of the body will be much darker than the middle section. So yeah, middle section a bit lighter right there, and then underneath the neck as well will be a dark area where the light can't reach. There we go, just smoothing out these transitions as best as possible. There we go, so it's starting to take shape now. And then with a darker colour again, just needing some of the areas to highlight for the shade on the face. There we go. There we go, just making this bit a bit smoother. Then I'm coming in again with another layer of this colour because this bit needs to be darker. It wasn't dark enough. So this is again just wet on wet. Get some more definition into the body. And at this point, well, it's a really heavy line of paint. So with a wet brush, well, a damp brush, I'm just literally going over the paint where it stops, making everything smoother. And then again another dry. So it takes lots of layers, lots of drying, and then I think I'm about to move on to the feet, if I remember. Oh no, I'm back on the face, right? So yeah, another layer of water right here, because again it's not quite dark enough, this area. So I'm just trying to define the difference between the neck right there. Make sure the face is really clear, it stands out. So a much darker colour. And I'm also, if you can see, I'm not touching that eye at all. I'm painting around the eye. And then again trying to smooth everything out. So nice and dry again, and another layer on this body, so more clean water applied here. Okay, I think I'm just smoothing out the head again. There we go. That's got, yeah, nice and smooth. Looking better now, more defined. So I don't think I was happy at this point with the colour of the bottom half of the body. So again, I've just applied some clean water, mixing a strong dark colour right here. And going over this again. There we go. So I think, yeah, it looks a bit better now. The area is more defined. The capybara looks, like it's got some 3D at least. Okay, at this point, the spray bottle, when I do the spray, it allows all the paint to mix together, and it gives the edges a really nice smooth edge. That's it. So a spray bottle again. You can see now the edges are really, well, they're a lot smoother after I use the spray bottle. And at this point, so watercolour dries like 20% lighter than you actually apply it. So I found that if I use a hairdryer at the same time when I apply the paint, it will dry a little bit darker because I'm kind of speeding up the drying process. So I'm using the hairdryer and I'm painting at the same time, right there, to make it darker. Then just moving on to some of the hair at the back, just to define the back of the capybara. There we go. Okay, so the most important bit, well, the hardest bit, were the feet. If you're painting an animal and the feet look terrible, well, you basically lost it. So I just applied some water right there. Then I'm using the strongest colour that I have. So again, I think that's just burnt sienna, a mix of ultramarine blue and lunar black right there. And I'm just taking it slowly to try and give these feet a bit of definition. So this bit is wet, wet on wet. There we go, just defining that first pore. Trying to avoid the area where the light is hitting as well, painting around that bit. Again, just using my spray bottle to make sure everything dries smoothly as well. And back onto the feet, yeah. So overall, I was quite happy with these feet. I was quite nervous doing the feet, because at this point the capybara, I was happy with that, it's looking quite good. And basically I'm just painting the shadow. The only thing you need to paint is the shadow right here for the paw or the foot, whatever. And because I've wet the paper, you can see that it's got like a really nice transition on that little leg. Nothing's hard, there are no hard edges, everything's nice and blended. There we go, a few extra details right there with the strongest, darkest colour on the shaded side. And then again, I'm just taking away some of the paint that I didn't need, using my towel to drag that out, lift it out, keeping the light where the sun's shining. Okay, so everything's dried right here. And just moving on to the next foot. So I think I'm just lifting out some paint actually right here. Yeah, so I'm just going in with my my damp brush, taking away some of that paint with my paper towel. There we go. And then again with the same colour, the same dark colour, just starting to work on this second foot, which is going to be really dark where the light isn't hitting. Smoothing that edge a bit right there. There we go. This is just some clean water again. And there we go, just painting in the shadow. There we go, just yeah, trying to define a bit of the shadow underneath the paws as well. And then I think well, everything dried. I dried it again this time. Just wanted to make the bottom half even stronger still, even darker. Then on this side there was like a third leg as well. So just trying to define that leg. It'll be the absolute darkest part where the light isn't hitting. There we go. Just making that border smooth as well with the damp brush. Yeah, using the spray bottle again, same as before, to make it watery. Then all the paint will run gradually up the page, leave you with a nice smooth transition. Give it a quick dry. Yeah, I think I needed some more darkness here. So that's just what I'm doing. More wet on wet, darker colour. And again using the spray bottle to take away that edge, make a nice soft edge. There we go. Then onto the eye as well. So when you're painting animals, obviously the eye is a really important part. If you do the eye wrong, then it's going to look bad. But luckily, because this area was shaded, the eye was quite easy because there was no detail really. Just you needed a dark colour. So the eye is wet, and I'm just kind of blotting in some dark colours right here. And then onto the nose as well. So obviously the nostrils, or any nose on the animal, is also quite an important thing. But luckily this one was pretty easy, pretty simple. Just two dots. Make sure it's dry. So I'm doing the same technique as before. If I want the colours to dry faster and darker, then I can use the hairdryer and paint at the same time. There we go. And then just some highlights around the eye right here. So I've got a damp brush lifting out some of the paint. And again on the head, just needed some lighter areas as well. So using my paper towel, take away some of the paint. And then I've moved on to the foreground right here. So this is a layer of water and then like a light wash in some areas. Then just some little splatters, you know. Classic technique just to add some texture onto the ground. Obviously in this painting the ground isn't so important, it's mainly the capybara. And then here, yeah, this background went terribly. Really not happy with this. But I'm just trying to define some of those whiskers on the capybara, so using a smaller brush, just kind of painting my way around the head, trying to pick out some spots where some whiskers would be, leaving those completely white. But you can see right here, the paint that I applied is drying, and as I'm going around the head, you can see the transition between the two paints is really obvious, because I wasn't fast enough. So yeah, looking pretty bad at this point. So I go in with a stronger colour right here. And that's a little bit better, but pretty terrible background. So maybe I'll paint this again and choose to do a different background. I was just copying the image that I had, the reference image. But in a second, after I've done this background, well, you'll see there's a little technique to make this background look a bit better, at least. Just trying to add some more texture to the ground. Right, so at this point it's completely dry, and I'm lifting out certain areas in the background where some of the light would be, like maybe between stones or something on the floor. Just trying to make the background look a bit better, because I'm really not happy with that. Just lifting out some specks of light down here. There we go. And that's it. So yeah. Overall, pretty happy with the capybara. I'd never painted one before. That was the first one. I think overall, yeah, it looks quite nice. Really happy with the feet. Very happy with those. The background, like I said, not so much. But it is what it is. So yeah, there we go. Hope you like it. And if you can follow my video and like it as well. I'll be trying to upload some more paintings of animals. There we go, just giving it a quick sign. Finished. Thank you.